All right. What's up, dude? That was so easy. We set that up so easily.
That was 2 seconds.
It definitely didn't take us 45 minutes to set up a camera and a couple of microphones.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think of sessions so far?
It's been good. This is much better numbers than it was yesterday, but that's probably because of IPY. But yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, man. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's always there's a little bit of ramp up, like we spin our wheels a little bit for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Before the real numbers start coming out.
But I'm surprised. There is always that, like, first practice out is usually rough. Drop passes, people are unfit, but Tuesday wasn't bad. I mean, hands were good, so.
Yeah, I counted 29.
Okay.
And a couple of guys left early. Yeah. So, we almost had enough to just run two full sides and run pattern against each other.
No, I think it went well. Good starting point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My alarm keeps going off. So, Patrick Brinkworth, I never wanted to be that American that's like, oh, your accent, where are you from? But if I could be a basic bitch for just a half a second.
So I'm from about an hour north of London in England, a place called Bedfordshire. And I'm from a tiny little village called Gravenhurst, which has, I think, 500 people in it. Proper middle of nowhere stuff, but picturesque village. We had a post office and a pub, and both of them closed down. So,
That's depressing.
Yeah. It's a really nice, it's a great place to grow up.
What's it called?
Gravenhurst.
Gravenhurst.
Yeah. There's a Gravenhurst, Ontario.
You still have family there?
Yeah, so my mum and my sister still live there.
Really?
Yeah.
Must have been tough for you.
It was like a hectic situation because I came here in 2008. That's when I moved here. I went to 8th grade in high school here, and then I was going to go off to university, and then that's when my mum decided that she was going to move back as well. So when I went off to university, they went back to England. So it was like a big, just like parting of the way. Yeah. So it was, it's pretty tough. Yeah, but I'm thankful for, as much as I hate social media, I'm thankful for Facebook and stuff like that.
Sure.
I keep up with them and talk to my sister all the time. I mean, we were best friends. We are best friends growing up. So it's like, I'm surprised how much I don't miss them. If that sounds bad.
Right.
I talk to them all the time. So it's like, they're still there. So.
Yeah. Is your sister older or younger?
Younger than me. Yeah, 4 years younger. Yeah.
That must have been particularly tough for her.
Yeah, I think so.
Right in freshman year.
Yeah.
Having to go back.
And she I don't think really wanted to go back, but as she was still in school, she just had to sort of go with my mum. And I think she would have liked to have stayed here, seen out high school here, and gone on to college here maybe. Yeah, I think she didn't acclimatize that well to moving back. But
what's she getting into now?
So she is a creative writer. She has a minor in... No, she has a bachelor's in creative writing and then a master's in marketing or something like that. But she is a copywriter for a company in England that do like these hotels, but they're sort of like adult getaways where it's like the idea is leave your kids at home and there's like fun stuff for adults to do,
Yeah.
But it's a thing in England. We have all these old manor houses that used to be, royalty back in the day that are just sitting in the countryside doing nothing. So these companies buy up these and turn them into like resorts and spas and stuff. So, yeah.
I always have mixed feelings when I hear that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like for a long time there, social media was pushing this advertisement. The algorithm was like, oh, this idiot will definitely buy this. Where you get a square square foot of land
Oh
in
yeah,
Scotland.
yeah. And
then
you're
become,
technically a lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that just like kind of a
It's like having a star named after you, basically.
yeah. Well, but there's no culture or history behind stars. I'm sure there's somebody that would vehemently disagree
Yeah.
with that. But you get my point. Like that, a square foot of land in Scotland is there's going to be history there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like you're bastardizing that a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, it probably just means nothing. And if it actually came down to the law of it, all those people own absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, so you came here in 2008.
Yes, 2008.
And you were in 8th grade.
I was in 8th grade. I went to the International School of Indiana, graduated from there. Then I went to the University of Tampa for a semester because I wanted to do, no, not in a semester, I was there for a whole year. I wanted to do marine biology. Took a couple art classes while I was there, realized I loved it. Came back and went to IU and studied graphic design. So,
and here you are.
Yeah.
And recently
promoted.
Is that like a for sure thing now?
Pretty much.
Hey, my dude. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So you work your ass off.
Technically design team lead now.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
I manage one person. But it's so much to put on the paper.
So 8th grade, I'm not good at math. So 8th grade in 2008, how old are you?
So I am 28.
28.
Yeah, just turned 28.
I am a decade older than you.
You don't seem it.
You were 10 years old when I was almost ready to drink.
That's funny.
Getting arrested. True story.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing rugby?
So I've been playing a long time. I think 4 years old is when we start in England, and it's like little kids running around with you call it flag football here, I think.
Yeah.
With the stuff straps on the air. So that was when I started, and then I've pretty much been playing at least once a season every year since. I've played my fair share of football, soccer. I've played quite a bit of cricket too. But then I came here, and it sort of rugby was my focus, just because there was a good group of guys that I fell in with from the get-go at 8th grade, with Broad Ripple Park and Eddie Abel out there, and sort of played with each other, played against each other all the way up through college, and then haven't stopped. I don't know when I'll stop.
You won't?
No.
Have you said that you're going to retire yet?
No. I get the sensation sometimes that it's like, let the younger kids come and have their time and stuff, but I don't know. I think I've still got lots to do. I mean, I know people hit their prime at different years, at different eras. I mean, I definitely felt like even when I was like a senior in college, when I look back now, I was still like a child, basically,
I know what you mean.
And there's no way that person then was playing the best rugby they've ever played, for sure.
Yep. Yep. I know exactly what you mean. When I've played, probably out of everybody on this pitch, I've played the longest stint of shit rugby.
Yeah.
It's always just been like I know nothing other than new programs starting.
Yeah. I get that.
And most of the time, with the exception of high school, I didn't really have a coach.
No.
Right? Up until 2016, 2017, when I was playing for Louisville.
Yeah.
And I was playing wing forward. Of course, I was a lot skinnier back then, but I was playing wing forward. I got stuck at fullback one time. Yeah, you're laughing because you know how bad I would be at that. Like, it's not even.
No.
And then I got fat and I moved to front row. And the 2018 season, when Louisville went undefeated all the way up until we got our teeth kicked in by Grand Rapids, that was hands down the best rugby I've ever played.
Yeah.
And I was still smaller than most props I propped against, but there was just something about finding the leverage and boring a little bit, but not getting called for it, and just the little dark arts tweaks.
Yeah.
It just really jived with me. And then the other thing that happened that year was I stopped lifting weights conventionally. I stopped doing bench and like just like barbell squats and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was just tearing my shoulders up.
Uh-huh.
I'd had shoulder surgery a couple years past, and I started just doing functional stuff, kettlebells, that kind of stuff. My rugby game went through the roof.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I know exactly what you mean by, like,
Yeah.
It's a weird sport because it's so, at least at the amateur level, it's you can spend so much time doing it, and then have for no reason, it seems like a kind of a peak year.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. Yeah. It's interesting to say that because when I first came here, I still remember it like vividly. My first practice playing out at Broad Ripple Park, and I'd been playing since I was 4 years old. Some of those kids were just starting now, and obviously my past was so much better than everyone else's just because
I grew up with it.
Yeah, and people were amazed, and it's sort of that thing of like the I don't want to say like the good player, but the ones that the coaches see know what they're doing get coached the less.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a lot of my situation, especially up through high school as well, because I played for Carmel. And that was a similar situation where I was seen as the one with the rugby IQ, and so you don't get coached. And even when I was at IU, I mean, no fault to the program there, they just didn't have the coaching staff to put the time in. I still didn't really feel like I was properly coached, And then it wasn't until I came out here where I sort of met my equals, that I properly got proper rugby game experience, and really saw the practices for what they were and what they were trying to do. And it really sort of clicked for me coming out and playing with White River,
Yeah.
Which would have been, well, when I actually came out and started playing for them properly, would have been about 2018, I think. Yeah.
So we probably played against each other.
Might have done.
I think that was the last time I played against White River. Was 2018.
Yeah, I was practicing with the Impalas for a year, or maybe one full season, I think. So probably would have been 2018 then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I know what you mean. On my end, it was kind of the opposite, where the only formal coaching I really got, where a coach would spend time working on my weaknesses and developing my strengths, was half of junior year in high school and then my senior year in high school. And then when I went to University of Southern Indiana, I was the player coach.
Yeah.
And I just made all the mistakes.
Yeah.
I just ran that program into the dirt.
Yeah.
Just did all the dumbest shit you could possibly think of. Road runs before every session. Thinking you can yell at players and that's going to be a sufficient motivation to do what you want to do, et cetera, et cetera. But I had nobody showing me anything.
Exactly.
And so I went for a stint of 6 years because I moved to a city that didn't have rugby for a couple of years, where my game hadn't improved at all.
Yeah.
Versus what I was in and then even when I started getting into coach, it was amazing how little it takes, even for experienced people like you. I bet you still, like Gio, come out to a session or something like that, and might just say one or two things and it'll click for you and
change it completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that is the state of a lot of programs, just because of the number of people that play it and the coaches available. There is a huge pool of rugby in America being played at quite a mediocre level, just because that's the way it is, and then
we don't know any better.
And then you have the professional teams and stuff. It's like
what do you think that is? Because I can't imagine. Two questions. First question is, I can't imagine American football being played en masse incorrectly for that long.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the rugby kind of spiked in the 70s and in the States.
Yeah.
And just based on my own experience, there are more clubs than not, even today, as much as it's starting to expand, that still teach rugby incorrectly.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because of it's like a mass ignorance.
I guess so. I don't. Ignorance sounds somewhat negative, but I just think it's to the point as well. Like you say, it's so like we've been playing rugby in this country for a pretty long time,
Yeah.
but it's sort of just not progressed enough because it's not clung on enough to the culture, to sports culture in this country, So it's sort of just allowed to sort of rumble on, and it has gradually gotten better and better, and I'm sure more and more people are playing it, but yeah, I think it's just like there's just a large number of us playing at a certain level, and there's not the there's not enough of a injection of IQ and high level coaching for it to really explode. If that makes sense.
Yeah, not enough top end pull through.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
that's the other thing as well. Is when once you, if you, I mean, there's a huge pool of American players who have come through the American system and are playing at professional level. There are, but it's still that those professional leagues are still a huge part to do with international players coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's almost like that is allowed to succeed because of the influx of international players, but you don't get that at the lower levels. Yeah.
Yeah. So um, it seems like, so I was gushing on Fort Wayne West, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're just a perfect example of how proper grassroots rugby growth should happen in the community.
Yeah.
Right. So you have, because there's something about rugby culture I think that is different than other sports. I've drunk the Kool-Aid, but I do think you are involved in rugby so long as you're physically able to, and then after you're physically not able to anymore, I think there's a very real depression that rugby athletes go through.
I'm sure. Yeah.
At least what I've witnessed.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen. It's usually people my age, getting closer to the 40s. They have enough injuries. They have a family they got to take care of. They have to make the tough decision to not play anymore.
Yeah.
Or in my case, you just can't anymore. And if you don't stay involved, then you go through a very real depression. But operations like Fort Wayne or Cincinnati Wolfhounds, there's a foundation, there's a funnel that they've created where those who are interested to stay in rugby, it's easy for them to get involved in giving back to the younger generation, right? And so it becomes, I think that's how you grow the sport at a grassroots level.
I think that's very true. And that is the model of how clubs function in England, right? I mean, there's like, on a game day, Saturday game day, there are many people surrounded by the club, like associated with the club, that played a long time ago, and it even gets to the point where it's like you play through your senior level, you get to the point where you can't play anymore, and then you sort of take on those sort of, I don't want to say manager roles, but like directorial roles within the club, and that's how those clubs keep going, and why they're so established in England compared to here, because that is like,
and that's an intrinsic motivation, right?
Yeah.
Most of those positions are unpaid.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like us. It's
voluntary. Yeah.
Right.
But you love the club so much because you played for it.
Right.
And when you see those people playing out there who are 20 years younger than you, you see yourself in them. Yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of just old boys sitting at rugby clubs across England, drinking beer, talking about how good they were, but they are the ones that allow the club to keep on growing, and stay established,
So it's interesting you talk about, so this is my second question. So it's interesting you talk about how you never really felt properly coached until you got into the men's club.
Yeah.
And as you know, and as everybody else will know, as we do more of these things, my fundamental interest is in growing the sport.
Yeah.
And I think that, at least in Central Indiana, and I think that's got to start with the youth, right? Or at least it's got to start in tandem with, youth has got to start in tandem with the other things we're doing.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what is being properly coached?
Do you mean like what level is being properly
Well,
coached?
no. If you could just imagine what would be ideal for you to be coached. If you could imagine an ideal coach, what would their top 3 qualities be? What would that program look like?
I don't know. I think a coach that can lead, obviously, be a figurehead, and I think a large part of that means they shouldn't be a player, as controversial as that might be, but it's true.
Yeah.
I think
at least at the head coach level.
Yeah, so they have to be a respected figurehead. I think that's really key. For the players to respect what they're trying to coach, basically, and respect who they are. And I think I really think a coach that, like, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, creates the hierarchy of skill levels within a team. And I mean that in the sense of he creates that high level so that the lower level strive to take those first positions. I think that's really key. And I think the coach creates that. And I also think I was thinking about this the other day with you, because I know you were saying about, are we looking for a new head coach at some point, right?
Right.
I think for this sort of grassroots level rugby and this style of club across the country, right, you are perfect for what we need right now, right? Because you are invested in the club. If we just got another head coach to come in and be, not
right.
We bring him in, might even like pay him, or whatever, a little bit a year. I think a coach that is also invested in growing the club as a whole, rather than just coaching a team to be good, is really important for this level of rugby in this country, for sure.
Because it inspires players and it improves the culture, or what gets buy-in.
I just think that they have a better incentive in what they're coaching, and a better overall view of what they're trying to achieve, rather than just making some A-star team that wants to just beat every other team, but then not grow as a club. Yeah.
And what do you think that? So looking at it from somebody who didn't get some of those things as a younger player, like what would you wish that person would have been like? Like if you had somebody who was totally focused on building the program.
Yeah.
Right. Like what different decisions would they have made? Like how do you think that would have benefited you?
I think I would have had a better understanding of the rugby club, if that makes sense. I think I definitely have played for teams and been a bit selfish in a way, like I'm out here to play rugby for myself and not understood how good clubs can be for the communities they're in, and how much beneficial it is for these clubs to grow rather than just to be a team that wins. Yeah.
One thing I struggle with in coaching among most of them is player selection.
Yeah.
And things adjacent to player selection. So time spent on the pitch, picking different players for different positions, playing a player out of position because I know he's better for that position than he does. And what I tend to find is that I always have this struggle between what's good for the player and what's good for the club.
Yeah.
Right. And it's fine. I'm happy to shoulder that responsibility and take the consequences when they come, because to your point, the North Star that I have that I got from Joe Parrish, who was the president of the Louisville club, said, always do what's best for the club. Understand what that is, what that means to you, and then that's your true north, and always go towards it. So even when you're pissing somebody off, what's up? Come on in. Yeah, we're doing a podcast, but it's fine. Come on in.
I'm absolutely
No,
not.
please.
Already liked me enough that I wasn't going to see you today, and I did this.
This is Megan T-Vault. She's been one of my very best friends since college.
Hey,
and she's volunteered to help us with the Dead Fish Society.
Awesome.
So while we're doing this podcast, we're having a meeting up in the clubhouse about that kind of stuff. Did it go well?
it went great.
Sweet.
It went fantastic.
We're-
ready to rule the world.
We're planning the Ruckin' Hot Ruck Run.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a fundraiser to help with local veterans and so forth. What's up, guys? This all can be edited out.
Yeah,
It's
we're
fine.
fine.
What's
I
up?
was going to introduce you to Gabe. Gabe is a new man to the team. He's
Gabe,
never played rugby
welcome.
before.
Jeff Russell. This is Coach Brinkworth.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Welcome, my friend. So how'd you hear about us?
Brian Forbes.
Forbes is.
yeah.
Where is he? Where are those big teeth?
He's somewhere.
How's practice going? Yeah?
Getting some fitness in.
Everybody's getting after it.
Pardon?
I can't turn my neck around enough to see what you're doing, but Patrick seems happy with what's going on.
Still haven't had any pukers yet, man.
No pukers!
It's coming soon.
Unacceptable.
But it's
That's your task.
I mean, we could, and it can't be at work either. No, I'm not going to make you. I just wanted to introduce
Hey,
you.
fellas, be sure to fill out a waiver. So, Forbes, you know where the waivers are up there?
I actually do not.
Okay.
I will. I'll go get it.
So it's in a manila folder up there.
He's the treasurer, not the filing cabinet. He's good.
So what it does is it collects your information. McCabe knows where it is too, Megan. It collects your information. It also gets your emergency contact, and as well, like it gives us permission to post. We're going to post this to YouTube, and it gives us permission that you can do that. So if you wouldn't mind following Megan upstairs and filling that waiver out, I would appreciate
As you
it.
can hear from the background noise, we are spending good and putting in a lot of work into constructing the best team out here.
Come around. Can we
East
get
of
in the camera
Yeah,
shot?
East of the Mississippi.
Come on in, fellas.
Constructing the best
We
team
are,
out here.
Oh my God.
We're gonna
Well, now
edit,
that's got to get edited.
gonna edit this all out. So.
Well, too bad I already flashed my-
How'd that go, McCabe? Yeah? Good. Yeah. It's just about doing it, brother.
Yeah.
Let's just get it done. That's what it is. Yes, ma'am. Just a waiver. Thank you.
I realized I never really did like a proper formal introduction at the start.
Yeah, well, so here was I was going to do, what's the name of that Russian dude that's been on Rogan a bunch of times?
Oh, I don't watch Rogan. I don't know.
Anyway, he does these really good intros.
Okay.
So I was going to do like my own intro video.
Oh, okay.
I'll just have
That
you
works.
send some information. That's why I'm taking notes.
Okay.
So, and that way, when we watch this, everybody will know.
Yeah.
So, yes, what were we talking about? Oh, True North.
Yeah.
So, doing what's best for the club, even if that means not doing what's best for an individual player.
Yeah.
It's a difficult decision that I think any head coach or program director worth his salt has got to be able to do. And to your point, it's interesting that you brought that up, Cam, as a means that it would improve your experience as a player.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know if you considered this when you said it, but that would mean that maybe a coach would make a decision that wasn't best for you, but was good for the program.
Yeah. I think that is true. But I think that's dependent on me, maybe. I guess the shift being me going from thinking selfishly or just thinking for myself to enjoy playing rugby and thinking about growing a club,
Yeah.
I guess that is like it's like that difference between clubs and teams, because there's hundreds of teams out there, that are, like you said, probably put the best players in the best positions, no matter they rock up on a Saturday having not gone to any of the practices,
Yeah.
but get put in that position because
Right.
they're the best player. But
Right.
they're not growing. They're not growing a club culture. They're just growing good teams.
Focusing on winning the day, not
not
growing
winning.
the program. Yeah, winning in general.
winning long term.
Leveling up.
Yeah.
It's further nuanced and complicated too because my starting player and those who have time in the 23 during conference play, that is the first thing I look at is the position.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a winger who's got more practice than a prop,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
So you look at the position first, but then the next thing I look at is practice attendance. Practice attendance, time spent in preseason S&C, time spent volunteering on this and that, because if you snub those people for the talented player who just shows up
Mm-hmm.
on game day and expects a starting position, you kill the club.
Yeah.
Every time you do that, if you look at it like a bank account, every time you do that, you make a massive withdrawal from that individual. And our club is built of just these individual minds that are all kind of jiving towards the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what that's meant, I don't know if you remember the De La Rosa brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Great guys.
Yep.
Awesome dudes. And through really no fault of their own, I mean, they work for a construction company that travels all over the country. But on the day that we tied Dayton, I bet you if I'd played them as wingers, that may have been a different outcome. So, and I pissed them off royally. I know I did. Right? So that was one of those situations where it's like, shit, I just lost 2 really good players.
Yeah.
But I had to start.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice, in my opinion, because I know what true north is. And it's, you have to focus on dedication, at least at the D3 level. Maybe if we start expanding and we got a D1 side and that's more selection, do you have what it takes to be a D1 player? Like, maybe that is different, but I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, I'm sure there's also the players you played over them still coming out, and you've gotten some return from them for the club.
Yeah, but it's funny too because it's a perception thing. So, and I'm going to mention Jalen. I don't think he'll get mad at me. But I pulled him out. With like 20 minutes left to go in the game, and he was furious with me. Right, and I apologized profusely to him because I should have told him that I was planning on making a tactical sub there, and I didn't. But so it's kind of like, even though, and Jalen's a talented player, but at the time he had like a little over 2 years experience playing rugby.
Yeah.
These De La Rosa brothers have been playing their whole fucking lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you still, like, as a leader, as a coach, you have to be comfortable with the fact that, try as you might, you'll never make everybody happy.
No way.
It's impossible.
No.
Right? I don't know. I've struggled with that because, as you know,
true.
I'm a pretty soft guy. Like, I try to make everybody happy.
I guess it's as long as you're not pissing off more than 50%.
Right?
You get
just
your
the
return.
attrition rate has to be a net positive. What's up, dearie?
Can I interrupt you?
Please.
Yes.
Okay. I put it on your clipboard. I saw that there was a manila folder that said completed, but I figure you might want his. Is that that silver clipboard?
Yep.
Okay,
I'll take that.
Put it on top there, and then I took one of these out.
I printed 4 of those,
Okay, well I took 2.
all for you.
Oh, all 4 for
Those
me?
are all for you.
And I took stickers.
Yes! Spread the
We need to
love.
get rid of
Spread
some of
the
those.
sticker love.
Oh, the love. I'm Megan, by the way. I don't know-
Megan, Patrick.
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 I feel like we have met, but haven't.
Yeah, possibly.
Probably.
I've seen you around.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you been to other? Or do you play with
Yeah.
White River?
Yeah.
Then I think I've been.
Yeah.
To an event.
Oh, yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Yeah,
Nice
good to see you.
meeting
Yeah.
the first time.
polar opposites of personalities here. This is really fun for me. The epitome of extroversion.
Okay.
The epitome of introversion.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I'm the one doing the podcast.
What did he say?
He's the one doing the podcast.
Right? I
Yeah.
love that. That's beautiful. I'm super sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine.
No big deal.
Good luck finishing that. Edit every second that I've been entered in
That's
that.
him. That's on him.
There's gonna be so many highlight reels. It's just gonna be like
Yeah.
Megan.
No, because this. Can I just say, sorry podcast. Listen, he messaged today. Hey, can you come by the field tonight at 6:00? I literally asked him, "Is this something I need to be dressed for?" Because last time I came, it was just him and I. We kind of were getting everything together.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. I said, I have not showered for 2 days. I'm dead serious. I'm like, and he was like, hell no, don't worry about it. I'm meeting people that I haven't met before.
Yeah.
I, again, haven't showered for 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm wearing pajamas that I've been in for 2 days. Haven't left my house or really seen the day of light. No big deal for Chad.
No.
I'm walking around, having worked in my house all day, smelling like I played rugby.
So you fit right in.
Yeah. Then he pulls the camera out.
The worst and the best. I love you. Okay.
I love you too.
Love you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, it was.
Thank
good
you
to
for all
meet
your
you.
help.
Nice to
Thanks
meet
for
you.
grabbing that waiver.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll call you. We'll close out about the meeting.
Okay. He's
What other
gonna,
sport?
He's gonna message me. Cool. He works in nonprofit.
I know.
United Way.
That's why, like,
So,
fusion dance. That's why I got you guys together.
that's so great. But he said that they just closed off they had literally, this is the last year that they kind of grant groups that work with recidivism, and he's like, there's like hardly anyone in the city, and he literally just closed that. And I was like, are you doing it next year? And he's like, it was the last one ever. And I was like, well, doesn't mean we can't have a connection.
What is the name of the nonprofit you work for, Megan?
Well, I'm a hope hustler, but it's coincides with Thomas Ridley's One Like Me.
Thomas Widley's One Like Me.
Yeah, we're gonna change that too, but it's a mentorship program. I think they're switching it to something kind of like the Connect, but we take people who have lived experience and they just mentor people that are coming back out into the community, that are coming from doing time. And we are trying to get to the core of why people want to I mean, it's a 44% relapse rate in a crime when you get out after you've done time. I mean, it's just, but it's because we're not setting them up for fair chances, right? It's not, it's just they want to fuck off. No, that's not what that is.
Right.
So we're just not preparing
Right. It's a vortex.
Right.
Very much like
right.
once you're in, and combine that with the fact that whatever lifestyle you were leading is what got you in that situation in the first place, unless you're wrongly accused or something or whatever. Like, so now you're fundamentally changing your personality, and everyone around you is hyper vigilant to get you back in.
Absolutely.
That's difficult.
And it's generational. We're underserved, underprivileged. It's people that just don't have the money to live. What are they doing? They're trying. Half of them got into crime to be able to pay their parents' bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, we got to start somewhere. So I guess we're going to start with this generation. That's the goal anyway.
Beats the hell out of CSR, doesn't it?
It does, but I do love autism. yeah, but it totally does. Except for the last 2 months, I've questioned every bit of my existence in life.
Nothing worth doing is ever easy.
No, that's why I have half a head of gray hair.
See ya.
Love you.
Love you.
Call me.
Yes,
Bye.
ma'am.
Love you.
Yeah. I'll check it's still recording. Might as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to hit the button.
I mean, I was worried for there. I didn't see the red REC letters.
All right. So what were we talking about?
I don't know now.
True North.
True North.
I think we beat that dead horse, but you know, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like if we try to make this too formal, then some of these interesting conversations won't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So just imagine. I am. Just imagine. I mean, it was just over 2 years ago. We had 6, 7 guys coming out to practice.
Yeah.
And you were one of them.
Yeah.
Right. You were that core group. Right. And here we are, like, the upstairs is remodeled.
Yeah.
Rugby remodeled, let's call it.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing fundraisers. We're integrating with people that are trying to help people. How does that make you feel?
It's great as well. It's great for me. Like you say, I was one of that 6 or 7. I've been playing with White River for. I mean, I used to come out and play with them in high school. So that would have been like it's like 10 years now, and like 9 of those years, it's just been the same. Couple guys try and do touch in the summer. We get 4 or 5 guys out sometimes after not even fucking play. It's like, oh, I'm swearing. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, me and Jesse's podcast was like
I didn't know.
feel.
And it's so great. I don't think a lot of these guys understand that, because I don't think there's really not a lot of those people from that 6 or 7 out now. It's hard for them to understand. Yeah, Brady and like Peyton comes out. There's not. I mean, there's a couple of Woodies out here today randomly. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, because Woody.
So I don't think they get the perspective of how cool this is and how it really feels like we are not on the brink of collapsing every season now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just the numbers here now. It's incredible. That's no small feat as well.
Those are solid numbers. Yeah, man.
It just takes those like core group of people just to like keep pushing and keep getting numbers out and keep getting on people to come out. You know.
But Joey Diaz says all you need is 3 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You can take over a country. Love Joey Diaz.
That's great.
Yeah. Wait, what do you think really kicked that off? And I don't want to hear it.
Well, it's true.
I don't. No, it's not.
Well, it is in part that you maybe lit the flame.
I was willing to fill a role, but the team was hungry and ready for it, right?
Yeah. I think there is like there was like a sensation that, oh, you know, same old White River, shitty numbers, lose to every team, but we wanted to prove that we were better than that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we also like represent. I think we represent a unique couple of teams, really. I think we represent high school in northern Indianapolis more than any other senior teams. If that makes sense.
Represent how? What do you mean?
As in, a ton of our numbers are people who have come through that system.
Yeah.
And are still around and hanging out. I mean, how many of these kids out here right now are Carmel alum, myself included, you know?
So, double digits.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we get the Zionsville influence, Fishers too. It's like we, as a club, had the opportunity to prove ourselves and prove that group of players that we're actually, you know, we can do something, you know? And it was you spearheading it. It really was a lot to do with you coming in and basically telling that core group of people what to do, or to keep them on task, get them motivated.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll take credit for. I think it's very easy. It's procrastination is what it is. You can label it something more pleasant, but what it really comes down to is not wanting to put in the work to turn it into something better.
Yeah.
And once you get into that rut, It's really, really difficult to get out of it. It's like right now I'm 245 pounds. I'm 40 pounds overweight. And the thought of getting back down to 200, which is really where I should be, means that I now lead a more sedentary life.
Yeah.
It's daunting.
Yeah.
And so I think having, like you say, a catalyst, some kind of a pillar of accountability that just says, nope, let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, if I brought anything to the club, it's positivity. So, and I wasn't, clubs that I ran in the past, I wasn't positive at all. I was very much the opposite. It was all about, do you have what it takes, which was embarrassing because we didn't have the numbers to have that attitude. You know what I mean? But that just made you feel good. It made you feel badass, you know? Yeah. And, but, you know, I had a bit of a change of perspective, and I just don't have any time for stuff that's needlessly negative anymore. So I think that just jibed with what people were hungry for.
I do also appreciate your, I think you call it blue collar mentality to it, but I maybe just see it as like the just do it mentality.
Just fucking do it.
Especially with rugby in America, you just throw everything at the wall and eventually something will stick, you know?
Right.
I think that's what we needed to do. We just needed to do everything, you know? And, you know, we'll find...
80% of it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Like, so what?
Yeah. But just do it to do it and, you know...
Yeah. Thanks for keeping me... That's actually exactly where I was going with
okay.
it, I'm so ADD.
Yeah.
So it's like the upstairs. It's like what I wanted to prove there was we've been talking about doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's find a little bit of money for it, and it was all reasonable conversations, but I just started tearing down walls.
Just
physically start.
Yeah.
You know? So but I did that a little bit at the beginning. And now, we're not running sessions, Patrick.
No.
And the guys are moving, you know, they're sweating. Everybody's got pretty good attitude, seems like.
Yeah.
Right? Heads are high.
Yep.
We're not doing that.
No.
I didn't do this.
No.
Right? This is awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
This is the team. This is that's why I get so mad. That's half the reason I brought it up, is because I wanted to just establish once and for all that I am responsible for maybe 10% of our upward momentum, and then it was everyone else coming along with the ride. If you look at the actual work that's been done, 10% of it was my actual work.
I would maybe disagree, but
we can argue, you know, split hairs, but
yeah. I understand what you're saying.
If you fast forward 5 years from now, I'm not going anywhere, but I bet you I'm not doing much of anything.
Well, it might be 10%, but it was the catalyst, and the catalyst was 100% of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that, you know, there wouldn't be any kind of a reaction to the catalyst if everybody wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But and that was the reason I asked you the question initially too, was because I still don't really have my finger on why that was. I mean, we just got out of the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody was sick of being at home. But there's lots of clubs that never.
No.
Right? I mean, demographically, we're in a pretty good spot. Yeah. Carmel's good, nice big city.
I think you're right. Like we had a lot of way to go. I think that's a big part of it. Like there was a lot in front of us, so we saw the potential in it. You know, not that we've even really we haven't made it yet, but I think also just the attitude change, like you said, the positivity of we're not coming out here to just chew each other out on a bloody Thursday when everyone's just got off work, you know?
Yeah, man.
We're here to encourage each other, and you can always have that competitiveness. That's, fundamental to a club, but do it in a positive way and in a way that makes these people want to keep coming out.
Yeah, I think there's more than one type of culture
Yeah.
that a given club can have, and so long as everybody's on board. Who said that in the team chat today? I thought that was really good.
I don't remember.
But it was, I was arguing with Leo about how much time we should spend explaining things versus showing things.
Yeah.
And Leo's ran Carmel Rugby for a long time, and
done a really good job.
He's got some state titles to back it up.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's no slouch.
Yeah.
And I love Leo to death. There's no but there. I love Leo to death.
Yeah.
I'm ride or die with him.
Yeah.
And we just fundamentally disagree about how much time to spend talking about something versus showing to do it, right? Which is fine. And I think the same can be true about cultures. So, do you have to have a Ted Lasso-esque, like, just focus on the positive? No. I don't think that's true. But I do think it's true. That's what we needed.
Oh, for sure, yeah. This level, for sure, yeah.
And maybe it's more at like an amateur level.
Yeah, I think it is also, like you said, we needed it.
Yeah.
We needed the positive. Not that it wasn't negative before then. And I don't want to, discredit the White River before. We did a lot. We did do a lot, and we played a lot of good rugby. But it's that positivity that created the club atmosphere rather than just a team that meets up.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend 2 hours, if you're going to spend 4 hours a week after your job, away from your family, why would you want to spend it just bitching at each other? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Never did.
Not trying to be World Cup finalists,
Right?
Trying to play some good rugby and create a good club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about. This whole DFS thing, I know I'm a dog with a bone on it, but I really think this Dead Fish Society thing is going to be a quantum leap in what we're able to do.
Yeah.
And then I think you'll just find, that's one of the other reasons that I brought up, what about having a more talented coach than me? Because, here's the thing. I am totally ignorant on how collegiate rugby is even structured. There's team names that people bring up. I'm just like, oh, yeah. Yeah, those guys. Yep, the Brumbies. Yep. Right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest reasons I asked you to coach is because I needed that, and I'm a forward, and I needed proper backline IQ. And man, so did you do any coaching before I asked you to coach?
Not really. I'd run a couple sessions with White River, when it was only 6 of us out here, but no, not really.
How do you think you're doing?
I don't know. I think I bring my own style to it. I think there's lots of things I'm not very good at.
Like what?
Enunciating what I'm trying to show, basically. I have all these ideas in my head. I don't say them very well, I don't think. And also, I think I stress too much about them staying interacted and engaged.
Which 100% comes from me.
Because I think I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I don't like half doing things ever. I want to do things.
So I just grind your gears all the time.
So as much planning as I could do going into a session, I'm still so worried about if they're listening to me still, if they're even still engaged. But like you said, I think I do. I bring the IQ and experience side to it from a player's perspective. I don't know. I didn't think I'd be very, very good at it, but
oh my God, you're so good at it.
I don't know.
No, you really are. I'm serious. I've comparatively not had that much more experience coaching either, but I have run. I've been a manager for a long time. I managed a company that the biggest company I managed had 200 employees. So I have some experience in just like how to communicate in groups and the fact that you're at where especially with this last skills clinic we had, all 27 of them I think we had at skills clinic, all 27 of them were just hanging on every word that you had. You're probably in your own head enough that you don't see that, but you have if there was anyone I would give permission to break from the keep them moving, keep them engaged, it would be you, because you got this really good style of communicating where you're slow with your words, you choose them carefully, and you're making every word count.
Okay.
And if you say something that requires more than my hard cutoff of 2 minutes to explain something, it's for a fucking reason. And it usually pays off.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like a really important thing about how to use the magic step, for example, that really pays off. Just like I was saying with, I was telling you with how we go to ground with ball, right? That score the try.
Mm-hmm.
I taught that in my redneck Indiana, here's basically how you do it. Now let's get a bunch of reps in, just do it and figure it out, and I'll tweak it as we go. And I maybe had 30% players that were reliably doing that, consistently doing that. And you had one session with 27 players, and a lot of those 27 players had never been introduced that technique before. And when we went into full team stuff, everybody was scoring the try.
Wow, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you really have a really nice.
Probably just the accent.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah.
They pay attention to you more because you got a posh English accent. Then fucking, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is rugby stuff coming from an English accent? They're like, oh, this is real now.
We got to listen to this guy. Got to listen to this guy. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I think you're doing fantastic, and I like the fact that it's if you were to look at my personality type, I'm split down the middle between extroversion and introversion, and I think being devoted to coaching River is maybe leaning towards extroversion, and I'd like to think that you coaching River has pulled you from the depths of introversion that you were at. You know,
maybe a little bit.
So yeah, man, I've definitely you've raised your voice. There's things that you've done that I'm like, wow, I never thought he had that in him.
That's great.
Yeah.
I definitely think I'm also more social on the team as well, but that probably goes back to that club versus selfish mentality, because I definitely for years was coming out here just to play for myself, but I now go and get beers after practice. Never used to do that.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You've mentioned that a few times. You it's like a pang of guilt there. Like you just felt really rotten about it, even when you were playing for yourself.
Yeah.
You think?
I think so. Because that's so much of as much as we maybe don't like to admit it, a large part of the reason a lot of guys out here come out is because they want to go have beers afterwards. But I think I felt guilty because a lot of them wanted me to come out,
Yeah.
I don't know, I never saw the value in it,
Yeah.
But there is value in it. There's an importance to those beers after practice. There's a huge importance in those beers after practice.
Right.
One thing, it's further emphasizes that club mentality. It creates bonds between people that you wouldn't have just running around out here. And then it's also that just thing that makes this sport different to any other sport on the planet, I think. Beers, the socials, it's that thing of go and spend 80 minutes, beating the shit out of each other, stomping on each other, gouging each other's eyes out, and then 10 minutes later we're all in the pub having a beer together, I don't think you get that anywhere else, really.
So so it's funny you mentioned that. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram is like rugby fights highlights.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think about that? What do you think about fighting on the pitch?
We're fucking guys playing a sport together, and we all think we're better than each other. There's gonna be fights.
Sure.
You know. The thing I don't like is the kids who come out and have an actual like
Axe
take
to
it
grind.
personally
Yeah.
and don't stay for beers and drive off as soon as it's done. That's I don't like that. I'm seriously I don't condone violence, but having your head to head with your opposite man and getting into it a bit is just part of
the culture.
Part of the culture, I think, you know. And as long as you step off that field and you are mates and you have chug a beer together, then it's fine. Yeah. I mean, it's funny that because there is that culture of rugby fights. And it's sort of like an old school thing. You don't see it as much, but I remember my dad had a old VHS, and it was like top 100 rugby fights, and it was just a compilation of the fights.
VHS.
I want to find that.
I can see Steve just like
sitting and watching that.
just pint of Guinness, like, oh yeah. I'm not gonna do his accent,
but yeah, it's funny that I definitely think there's less of that culture in rugby now. But yeah, as long as you step off the field and you're fine and you have a beer, I think it's fine.
I agree with that part. I think if you have a fight, I think that's one of the things I disagree about the increase in rules and regulations on the pitch is some of that self-regulation is removed.
Yeah.
And then I think you get sour grapes from that. So
that's true. Yeah.
So if because right now, as the laws stand, if you retaliate, you're going to get it worse than the guy that was raking you or doing whatever, right? And so that's what I like about hockey culture. It's like you square off, right? It's entertaining, but it's like this open secret. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? There's not real beef here.
No.
And so that part of it I agree with. What I don't agree with necessarily is the glorification of it.
Yeah, I
don't think that grows the sport.
I agree.
I think that should be an open secret amongst rugby players.
Yeah.
It's like you have you throw a couple, you bloody a lip, and then you share a pint afterwards.
Yeah.
That's something that I think is somewhat sacred that you learn once you get into rugby.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that it's glorified sometimes on social media sullies it a little bit.
That's true.
Because I think it can be misinterpreted.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think maybe that's what you're right. It is glorified, and it is sort of some people's only impression of rugby is that there's fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
It's way deeper than that.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's a very deep thing to be able to come to blows with somebody, where in any other setting that would be litigation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just, hey man, good one. Like, cheers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it harkens to something bigger than ourselves, like an idea that very little matters in this world, but you just focus on the fun memories of it.
Yeah, it's funny as well. Think about like when I first started playing for White River, and it's different because when you've been playing for White River for as long as I have, you've been playing the same players in other teams as well for that long as well, you know, and you don't get that in other clubs because it's like, I mean, at other levels, play through high school, you only play 4 years, college 4 years, so it's like you may come to blows with someone the first time, and then next season you see him, you're like, I can't get mad at him. We had a great time afterwards. I know him. I've seen him naked.
Yeah. There's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
It's shocking to normies just how many, like, everyone here has seen everyone naked, unless you're new. This is your first day on the pitch, maybe you haven't seen anybody naked. Yeah, that's 100% a thing. Yeah, that reminded me of what. So Oh, crap. I lost my train of thought. Crap. Man, I had something really good, too. What was it?
Glorifying fights.
That was before that. Something about clubs.
Oh,
I lost it. Well, what else?
I don't know.
I'd say it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah?
Cool.
Good?
You get Woody on the cam.
What?
Get Woody on the cam. It's a rare appearance.
I mean, I guess, you gotta give him a little skin. I know what they're showing up for.
You're looking so skinny.
Oh, thank you. I feel
Skinny
fat.
Woody.
I feel fat. I'm definitely playing like I'm weighing 300,
Yeah.
but, that happens. That's why you drink plenty of water and you show up to practice every day.
You're
That's
still our
definitely what
secret
Woody
winger.
Why did you show up today?
Well, I just had time.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, I mean, I was planning on showing up Tuesday, and then, got off work at 5 after starting work at 2 the previous day in the afternoon. So, did about 22 hours, and then yeah.
Dude, you are one of my... You're not a real person. You're not. You're a character in a book. You really, like...
I try.
We need to pan across and show him the van he drives.
We probably should do that.
That's right. Hey, you want an MTV Cribs moment?
Man, so I got some time spent. Talk, Jeff. I got to have the pleasure of spending some time and actually getting to know Woody instead of just being this party guy that's like ready to win the social all the time. And the life you lead is you're literally Bruce Wayne and Batman. You live like these two different lives. Like you have this pretty successful career. Managing logistics.
Yep.
Would that be a fair?
Drivers and logistics, moving packages around for everybody's enjoyment.
Yeah. And then, man, at the socials and at concerts and just a Tuesday in the van, you get after it.
If you're gonna do something, do it 100%. If you're gonna work. If you're gonna play.
Moving packages to exposing his package.
Hey!
That's good. That's going on the whiteboard.
How else are all those MILFs gonna get this dick in the butt?
Yeah. We might have to edit that part. That's gonna get some hate.
That's just supply chain.
We're gonna get demonetized from YouTube, Woody.
I think you say the D word.
No, but it's deliberate.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I think is dope. I just thought you were this fuck up for the first 6 months.
Oh, I am.
Was like, oh no, no, but it's deliberate.
Yeah. Well, again, otherwise I drive myself nuts. At work, I'm like, because again, I always try to, never. We've always had bosses or coaches or anything else like that just yell at you, thinking that it's going to bring out the best in people. And I'm like, that's anger's coming from somewhere else. That usually never brought the best out of me. I'm like, who the freak is this guy yelling at me? You don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you gotta coach him. You gotta be deliberate about it. So you need that valve release somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you don't get it released, then otherwise I'd be just beating my drivers over the head with a tire iron, and then I'd be in jail for murder.
Yeah, but it's one thing to it's one thing to go to partying as a release from life, but you're like, this part of my life is fine. I just really like partying.
Well, yeah.
I love to party.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, release as in get the energy out. Because you can't be talking very loud and doing sprints in the office or running from semi to semi. Then otherwise who the hell is this crazy guy? And then you're getting drug tested every other week.
Please tell me you're corporate Woody. Please tell me I've never met thanks for calling SNA. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, dude, sir, what's going
Zachary.
on? How can I help you today? Hey, we problem solve that, no problem. What do we got?
So your coworkers would be like, rugby? Beer? That guy?
He wears a tie. He's got slacks on. And
he never wears a shirt. He always wears a tie.
What are they hollering about? How's session going?
Oh, good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I felt like it. Yeah, just the amount of people we got showing up, everything, it's freaking beautiful what you guys are accomplishing.
A good amount of time.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I feel like
Brady always here to just,
just rain on some parades, why don't you?
I bet we had 25.
You're the weatherman calling for rain every parade day. We hate you. We want the sunshine guy. I don't care if it is going to be 20 below. You tell me it's going to be 80.
It's realism.
You lie to me.
I do that anyway.
You pee on me and you tell me it's rain.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right. second podcast.
In the
All
books.
right. Good job, guys.
Hell yeah.
I was wondering what you're doing. So you probably got like 20 shots like me, like just looking over.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the